when we talk about rounding in our class, we talk about it in two different ways. The first way that we look at rounding is we look at it from a number line perspective. So if I had the number like 57 and I was rounding to the nearest 10, I would want to put it on a number line and see what is it closest to. I would decide the two tens that it was between. So in this case, 57 is between 50 and 60. And when I put it on a number line, 57 is right here. 57 is closer to 60 than it is to 50. So we could look at it that way. We also can look at it if we were looking at a number like 372. And if we were rounding to the nearest hundred, we would look at our hundreds place and we would say, so it's either going to be 300 or 400. And most kids are able to figure out then that 372 is about here and it's closer to 400. However, we also can have a look at numbers like 372 that are in the hundreds and round to the nearest 10. So as we look right now, we're going to round 372 instead of to the nearest 100. We're going to round it to the nearest 10. So when I do that, we talk about with our students saying, if I just had 72, my two numbers would be 70 and 80. Now when I add in that 300, I just add in the 300 in front of the 70 and 80 and know that it's 370 and 380. I can then look and say, okay, 372 would be about here, so it's closer to 370. We also look at it the second way by looking at it as a step-by-step procedure that we use as a poem. So, first step, underline the number. Second step, look next door. And then we say 5 or higher. Add one more. 4 or lower. Just ignore. So now if we put that into practice, looking at a number like 38, rounding to the nearest 10, we underline the number that we're rounding to, underline the number, look next door, always look to the right. This number is an 8, so it's 5 or higher, so I add one more to my tens place. My 3 tens turn into 4 tens, and then I know that since I'm dealing with tens, I get a 0. If we made it 536 and I was rounding to the nearest tens, I would still underline the number, look next door, 5 or higher. Yep, this is a 6, it's 5 or higher, so I add one more. I make this a 4. The numbers to the right turn to 0, the numbers to the left stay the same. I get 540. Those are two different ways that we look at rounding in our class.